Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video in the Python series. In this video, I'll be teaching you about comparison operators. Alright guys, welcome back. Last time we learned about the logical operators in Python, which are a way to do different operations upon booleans to give you new booleans, and we learned about booleans in general as well. And that was fun. So booleans again are just true and false values. Make sure to watch that if you haven't already. So now we're going to be learning about the comparison operators. There's a bunch of different types of operators in programming languages, but this is another really essential one, comparison operators. And this one includes a bunch of the operators that you already know about in just regular math that you probably learned in elementary school or middle school. So you have equals equals, you have not equals, you have less than, you have less than or equal to, you have greater than, and then you have greater than or equal to. That's it. Those are the comparison operators. And so these are all pretty self-explanatory. It's just like how you write them, which is the thing that you have to remember. Okay, but first of all, the biggest thing though is that equals equals is not the same as just equals by itself. So equals equals is not the same as equals. All right, that's something common to all programming languages. They all use equals equals, like at least the modern popular programming languages. The first one, equals equals, that's to check to see if two values are the same. All right, to check to see if they have the same value, if they're equal. This one is to assign a value to a variable or reassign a value to a variable. This is the one that we've been using the whole time. But when you have two equals, that's for a comparison. That's why it's a comparison operator. So let me give you an example. So if we do print and then we do 5 is equals equals to 2, that is going to be false. Okay, so this entire operation here evaluates to false because 5, as you know, is not equal to 2. But if we change this to 2, then obviously that's going to be true. So if you just run this now, I'll prove that to you. There you go, you get true. And change it back to 5, you get false. So that's what's really cool about comparison operators. It's that it's a way to compare values and stuff like that, but they give you a boolean. And that's really important because we're going to be using these for things like if statements and building conditions and fun stuff like that. It's going to be really essential for the next few episodes that we're going to be working with. Understanding how to use these is very essential. Okay, so let me just give you some more examples here. So that's for equals equals, and then of course, like I said, this one is just for regular variable assignment. So everything we've been doing so far, like Bob is equal to 2. So that's very different, and just try and remember that, okay? So when you're doing comparisons, they don't have to be done only on numbers like I just did. They can be done on pretty much any type of data. So booleans, integers, strings, floating point number data types, all the data types that we've learned so far, even lists, believe it or not, which is not something you can do with other languages. So let me give an example of just a few of them. So this is all going to be for the equals operator. So true equals equals true. That's going to evaluate to true because true is indeed equal to 2, true. Then we do true equals equals to false, that's going to be false. Print, and then we're going to do 69 is equal to 45, that's going to be false. And then print, now we can do a string if you want to, Obama is equal to cheese. That's going to be false because Obama is not equal to cheese. And this one's also pretty self-explanatory because you're just comparing to see if this string has the same characters as this string, and it doesn't, so it'll be false. So if we run this, we get true, false, false, false. Great, simple. Now let's do not equals. So not equals is just a exclamation mark and then followed by a equal sign, all right? So we'll do true is not equal to true. That's going to be false because true is equal to true. Now we're going to do true is not equal to false. That's going to be true because true is indeed not equal to false. Print 69 is not equal to 45. That's going to be true as well. And then print Obama is not equal to cheese. So as you can see here, because we changed it from equals equals to just regular not equals, we've essentially flipped the final result of this operation here, this comparison operation between these two values, and it makes perfect sense, right? Because if this one is true, for example, this one has to be false because the operation is the opposite. So that's equals and not equals. Now let's move on to the other ones that we all know and love. So print, and we can just do literally anything. So 45 is greater than 69, that's going to be false. Print 45 is less than 69, that's going to be true. And then of course you can change these to less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. just by adding an equal sign onto it. And those, hopefully you know what those mean. That's just the same as what you learned in algebra class. So if 45 is greater than or equal to 69, this entire thing will evaluate to true, and then true will be printed out. So you can think of this entire expression here as evaluating to a single boolean. So you can think of it as a boolean if you really want to at the end of the day, because it evaluates to a boolean before it's printed out. So I told you can also do it with a list, which is pretty cool. So here's an example. If we have two lists, let's say list 1 is equal to 1, 2, 3, and then list 2 is equal to 1, 2, 4. So this is obviously going to be false because they don't have the same values. So that's how a list comparison works. It's just going to check each value one by one to see if they're the same and all that. So pretty self-explanatory. So false changes to 3 and we get true. There you go. And that's very unique to Python. That doesn't work in other programming languages. You cannot compare a list directly like that. You have to use other means of doing that. But yeah, so let's also try some of the other ones here. So less than. In this case, list 1 is technically less than list 2 because the last value 3 is less than 4. So that is going to be true. If you change that to 1, then it's going to now be false because now it's the opposite. So yeah, pretty self-explanatory. I hope you guys understand what's happening here. It's just simply basic math comparison operators. The only thing you really have to remember is that equals is not the same as equals, and then also this is how you do not equals, and the other ones are just the ones that you use in everyday algebra. But one more thing I want to show you is how you can combine comparison operators and logical operators to make some really complex expressions here, because that's what you're going to be doing very often. Very often you want to have comparisons done using the comparison operators, and then you want to combine those comparisons using the logical operators. Remember last episode, the logical operators are operators that are done upon booleans to give you booleans. So let me just give you an example here. Let's say my age is equal to 20, and then we'll have another variable called am I old. And so the value of this will be true or false depending on if I'm old or not. And let's just say I'm going to be old if I'm greater than or equal to 18 and also less than or equal to 65. So we can do that by doing age is greater than or equal to 18 and then put and. That's a logical operator, remember? And then age is less than or equal to 65. So in this case, we have two comparison operators. Those evaluate to true or false. And then those true or falses are combined with a logical operator. Let's get rid of that. A logical operator into one final true or false Boolean value. And then we'll print out, am I old, to figure out if we're old or not. So run this, and true, because true is in between 18 and 65 inclusive. There's actually an easier way you can write this, though, with Python. There's just another thing unique to Python. You don't have to do them separately and then combine the result. You can actually do it all together by doing am I old. We'll just reassign the variable. Am I old? And we'll do 18 less than or equal to age. And then that's going to be less than or equal to 65. So that's just a different way of writing is the age in between 18 and 65 inclusive because it's also equal. So if we print out, we should get the same results. Am I old is going to be true. There you go. So it's more concise, as you can see, and makes logical sense because it's just right in between. So it'll just evaluate each of these behind the scenes and combine them automatically. And you don't have to worry about doing this complex expression here. And so just one more example of that is if you have print 1 is less than 2 is less than 3. Another way you could write that, the traditional way you could write that within other languages, is 1 is less than 2 and 2 is less than 3. So you can do either way. It depends on how you want to do it. You may just find me doing this one just because that's what I'm used to in other languages, but again, it's up to you, and pretty cool stuff, right? There is one nuance, though, when you're comparing strings using the less than or greater than operators and all these variations. It doesn't actually compare it how you think it might compare it. It's going to compare it by its lexicographical order or alphabetical order, and I'll make a separate video on that. But just know that if you have any issues when you're trying to compare strings using operators that are not equal to or not equal to, then you may get some weird results that you may not expect. So stay tuned for that. I'll show you all about that stuff, but that's just another little nuance I want you to know about. But generally speaking, for any of the basic values that we've gone over today, it's all pretty self-explanatory, and you shouldn't have a problem using any of these. But with that said, comparison operators and logical operators are going to be very, very useful for next episode, where we're going to dive into if statements, which is a way to make your program go into different directions depending on different conditions. So stay tuned. Hopefully you're excited, and thanks for watching. Alright, so that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. In the description below, I'll leave a link to the code for this episode so you can check it out. You can bookmark it, come back to it later. If you forget any concepts or you just want to review the concepts I taught in this video, I'll mark everything up with comments so you can come back and read the code without having to rewatch the video, although your reviews are greatly appreciated. So yeah, I'll leave a link for that in the description below, so make sure to check it out. And another thing is I'll leave a link to our Discord server. It's a big community for programmers. You can ask for help on your programming projects if you're stuck on something, or maybe you can get some new friends. If you don't have any friends, there's lots of people here. It's growing really fast. You can find lots of people who are passionate about the same things as you. For example, if you like Minecraft Spigot development, you can find lots of people who like that. If you like C++, if you like Java, if you like web development, it's a really, really big programming community. So feel free to join. There's a link for that in the description below. And the last thing I want to tell you is that if you want to support this channel, you can click the join button below this video and you can join this channel as a member for as low as 99 cents a month, and you can cancel at any time. You get some cool perks like early access to all of my new videos, a cool rank on my Discord server like you see right here on the side, YouTube members, and also you get to see yourself on the screen like you see right now. So if that sounds cool to you, feel free to join. If you don't want to, that's fine. If you can't, that's okay too. I really just appreciate you watching the video anyway. And thank you. Thanks a lot. And that's it. So if you like this video, leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. And peace.